God says, I will leave you if you don't watch this now. You will be hospitalized in the next 2 days. You will receive 1.2 billion in your bank account if you open this message immediately. Don't skip. You won't receive the money. This is not just a warning, it is a wake-up call from the Spirit of the living God. This is not an accident. You are seeing this now because something urgent is taking place in the realm you cannot see. Heaven is moving, but so is the darkness, and the choices you make in this moment will determine which side overtakes the other. These are not empty words to scare or shake you. This is a divine interruption. You were meant to see this, because what's being released over your life is too heavy, too holy, too real to be ignored. You are standing in front of a spiritual door right now, and it is about to either close or swing wide open. If you believe God is speaking to you right now, comment Amen to affirm. There are moments in life that are more than just seconds ticking on a clock. There are moments where heaven leans in, where angels hold their breath, where God Himself stands at the edge of glory waiting for your response. This is one of those moments. Do not delay. This is not just a video you stumbled across. You were brought here, chosen, called, pursued by a God who has been watching you suffer silently, hoping you'd still have the strength to believe. You are loved more than your pain. You are seen in a depth no one else can reach. You are not forgotten. God knows what you've been through and what you're afraid of. He knows what's coming next, and that's why this moment is no accident. Listen closely. The message in front of you may seem dramatic or strange, but let me show you what's actually happening behind these words. When it says, God says, I will leave you if you don't watch this now, it's not about fear, it's about urgency. You have been given chance after chance to turn, to listen, to come close, but the noise of the world has drowned out the sound of His whisper. This isn't about punishment. This is about the presence of God that longs to dwell with you, but cannot coexist with the rebellion, the distraction, and the compromise that has become comfortable in your life. If God leaves, it's not because He stopped loving you, it's because you stopped responding. You ignored the moments when He tried to reach you softly, gently, through peace and through people. And now, because He loves you too much to leave you the way you are, He speaks louder, not to push you away, but to shake you free. This is that shaking. This is that moment. When it says you will be hospitalized in the next 2 days, it's not just about physical illness, it's about the condition of your heart, your spirit, your life. God has been watching the slow breakdown inside of you. You've been holding it together on the outside, but something in your soul is collapsing. The pressure, the anxiety, the confusion, it's not going unnoticed. If you don't stop and open your heart right now, things will get worse. This is the love of a father who warns because he wants to protect. He speaks in advance to give you a way out. You don't have to break, you don't have to fall apart, but if you ignore him now, you may not have another clear moment like this again. This is the invitation to healing. You were never meant to carry what you've been carrying alone. You were never meant to drown in your thoughts or feel forgotten by everyone who once promised they'd be there. You've cried and no one saw. You've begged and no one answered. But now, heaven is leaning down and saying, I see you, I hear you, and I have not forgotten the prayers you whispered in the dark. This is the time to listen. This is the moment to receive. If this has already spoken to you deeply, please like this video. You may never know who else will be pulled back from the edge just by seeing it. Now, about the 1.2 billion. That number may sound impossible, exaggerated, even foolish. But that's because God is about to do something in your life that logic cannot contain. The 1.2 billion is not just about money. It's a symbol of overflow, of restoration, of divine compensation for the years you lost. You may not need $1.2 billion, but you do need restoration in your family, in your mind, in your soul, in your future. And when God says He will provide, He means exceedingly, abundantly, more than you can ask or imagine. But there's a catch. The provision is released by obedience. The blessing is unlocked by surrender. If you skip this moment, if you walk past the voice calling you now, the window closes. This is not to manipulate or pressure you. This is to tell you the truth. Not all doors stay open forever. Not all grace moments last. Sometimes you have to stop everything, drop the excuses, and say, God, I need you. I hear you. I'm ready. You've been waiting for a sign, and this is it. You've been praying for a confirmation, and this is it. You've asked God to speak, and He is. Not with thunder, not with lightning, but with these words you're hearing now. He's saying it's time to wake up, time to turn back, time to come home, because there is more for you. There is healing for you. There is favor over your name that no man can take. There is protection being placed over your life that no accident, no diagnosis, no disaster will be able to cross. You have angels surrounding you now. You have grace reaching for you now. You have destiny realigning for you now. All God is asking is that you do not turn away. Do not scroll past. Do not delay your obedience, because this very moment is soaked in mercy. This very second is saturated in glory. If you believe this is your moment, comment 1111 right now. Even if no one else understands the fire you feel in your chest right now, follow it. That's the Holy Spirit. That's the same voice that called Moses from a burning bush, that raised Jesus from a borrowed grave, that filled an upper room with wind and fire. That same Spirit is touching you now, telling you it's not too late, it's not over, you're not too broken, and you have not gone too far. You are loved, chosen, and divinely protected. The enemy has tried to destroy you because he sees what's coming for you. The devil has been fighting your mind because he fears your future. But he will not win, because God is not finished with you. He is just getting started. God is drawing you into alignment, because alignment brings protection, and protection releases peace that nothing in this world can counterfeit. You are not here by chance, and you are not listening by accident, because the same God who numbered your days also numbered this moment and placed it directly in front of you with purpose and precision. What you are feeling right now is not confusion, and it is not pressure. It is conviction wrapped in love. And conviction always carries clarity if you let it settle instead of resisting it. God is not trying to scare you into obedience. He is trying to rescue you from destruction that you did not see coming, because love warns before harm arrives. There are paths you were walking that looked harmless but were quietly draining your strength, your health, and your hope, and God stepped in because He refuses to watch you collapse when restoration is still available. The threat of loss was never about abandonment, it was about awareness. God does not leave suddenly, but people slowly drift when they stop listening, and this moment is a divine interruption meant to stop that drift. When you listen, you remain under covering, and when you remain under covering, no weapon formed against you can succeed. The protection of God is not fragile, but it is relational, and it flows strongest where connection is honored. Your body, your mind, and your spirit are deeply connected, and God has been watching the weight you have been carrying. Sleepless nights, silent stress, and unspoken fear have been pressing against you, and heaven saw it before anyone else did. The warning was not to declare sickness, but to prevent collapse. God restores before damage when hearts respond quickly. He heals before wounds deepen when humility opens the door. What looks like a warning is actually mercy arriving early. There is healing being released over you now, not only physical healing but emotional and spiritual healing that reaches into memories you tried to bury and wounds you tried to ignore. God is touching places no one else ever noticed, and He is doing it gently, because He knows how fragile those spaces became. You do not have to break for God to rebuild you. You do not have to lose everything for God to restore you. Obedience in this moment is already shifting outcomes you cannot yet see. Provision is moving as well, because God never heals without also restoring what was lost. The promise of overflow was never meant to distract you with numbers, but to show you that lack will no longer define your future. God is not limited by economies, systems, or circumstances, and when He blesses completely. What He is releasing into your life will cover needs you spoke out loud and needs you were too tired to even name. Stay attentive, because this is not about chasing blessing, it is about staying connected to the blesser. When you remain close, provision flows naturally, protection stays active, and peace guards your heart even when the world feels unstable. God is establishing order where chaos tried to rule, and He is doing it step by step so nothing overwhelms you. If your heart agrees with this truth and you trust what God is doing now, comment 222 as a declaration of alignment. There is a calm being poured over you now, even if your circumstances have not changed yet, because peace always arrives before breakthrough. God settles the heart before He moves the mountain, because fear cannot carry what faith is about to receive. You are being strengthened quietly, reinforced internally, and this strength will soon show on the outside when pressure no longer shakes you the way it used to. The enemy tried to rush you, confuse you, and exhaust you so you would miss this moment, but he failed. You are still here, still listening, still open, and that alone has shifted the spiritual atmosphere around you. Darkness loses ground when light is acknowledged, and you just acknowledged it by staying. God honors that more than you realize. What is coming next is not chaos, it is clarity. Decisions that once felt impossible will become obvious. Paths that felt blocked will begin to open. People who drained you will lose influence, and connections meant to support you will emerge naturally. God rearranges environments when hearts surrender, and surrender is exactly what you are stepping into now. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not disqualified. You are right where grace can reach you fully. God redeems time in ways humans cannot understand, and He is already restoring years you thought were wasted. Nothing you endured was meaningless, because God does not allow pain without purpose, and He does not waste suffering when a willing heart remains. As you continue listening, know that you are being covered. Angels are assigned. Protection is active. Favor is surrounding you quietly but powerfully. God is holding you steady as He leads you forward, and He will not let you fall while your eyes remain on Him. The peace you are beginning to feel is not fragile or temporary. It is the evidence that God is surrounding you with His presence in a way that stabilizes your thoughts and quiets the storms that once controlled your reactions. This calm is not denial of reality, it is authority over it. Because when God rests on you, chaos loses its power to dominate your inner world. God is drawing a clear line between who you were and who you are becoming, and that line is marked by trust instead of striving. You spent too long trying to survive by your own strength, carrying burdens you were never meant to carry alone, and slowly losing joy while pretending everything was fine. God saw the cost of that effort, and He intervened not to shame you, but to relieve you. This moment is proof that He does not abandon His children when they are tired, confused, or overwhelmed. There is a strengthening happening in places you did not know were weak, because God restores foundations before He builds higher. Your faith is being renewed quietly, not with noise or spectacle, but with steady assurance that does not shake when circumstances fluctuate. This kind of faith does not depend on instant results because it knows who is in control even while waiting. God is teaching you how to rest without fear, how to trust without panic, and how to move forward without carrying the weight of yesterday. The protection over you is active and intentional, because God guards what He calls. Things that once harmed you will not have the same access anymore, because discernment is being sharpened. You will begin to sense when something is not aligned with peace, and that awareness will guide you away before damage is done. This is not coincidence. It is divine guidance operating gently but consistently in your life. God is also restoring your sense of worth, because you were never meant to live feeling disposable, invisible, or replaceable. You are known by name, valued by heaven, and watched over with care that does not waver. When God speaks about abundance, He is not only talking about provision, but about fullness of life that touches every area of your existence. You will begin to feel whole again, not because everything is perfect, but because God is present. There are conversations you will no longer fear, choices you will no longer delay, and steps you will take with confidence instead of hesitation. This is not because you suddenly became fearless, but because God is teaching you how to move even when fear whispers lies. Courage grows when trust deepens, and trust is being planted firmly inside you right now. If your spirit agrees with this direction and you receive God's covering over your life, comment 333 as a declaration of faith. God is also healing your relationship with time, because regret has been a heavy companion for too long. You replayed moments you wish you could change and blamed yourself for outcomes that were never fully in your control. God is lifting that burden because forgiveness is not only something you receive, it is something you learn to give yourself under His grace. The past no longer has permission to define your future when redemption steps in. You are being repositioned emotionally and spiritually, and this repositioning will affect how you respond to stress, how you handle conflict, and how you view your own potential. God is expanding your vision carefully, because He knows sudden exposure can overwhelm, but steady revelation builds strength. You will begin to see opportunities where you once saw dead ends, and hope where you once expected disappointment. The presence of God is becoming familiar to you, not distant or intimidating, but close and reassuring. You will recognize His guidance in subtle nudges, quiet reassurance, and timely peace that makes no sense to the natural mind. This intimacy is not reserved for a few. It is available to all who remain open, and you are choosing openness right now. What you are receiving is not hype or emotion, it is alignment, and alignment brings stability that endures. When life shifts again, and it will, you will notice that you are not shaken the way you used to be. That is growth. That is healing. That is God at work within you, strengthening you from the inside out. The same God who has followed you through silent years, dark nights, and empty days. The same God who did not give up when you did, who never stopped watching, who never stopped loving. He is here, and He is speaking now because what is coming for you is bigger than what tried to break you. You are in a divine moment of reversal. What looked final is being rewritten, what looked hopeless is being revived, and what was stolen from you is already being returned. God is not just preparing to bless you. He is already moving, quietly, faithfully, without delay. Your name has been brought before His throne and marked for restoration. That is why the enemy has fought you so hard lately. That is why your mind has been under attack. That is why your sleep has been restless and your peace has felt distant. Because the enemy always makes noise when God is near, but noise cannot stop what heaven has already approved. You are not being punished, you are being pursued. Grace is chasing you down. Favor is finding its way back to your door. God did not forget the promises He whispered to your heart, and He certainly did not forget the tears you cried when no one else saw. Every whispered prayer, every sleepless night, every moment you almost gave up, heaven has gathered them all, and God has prepared a response that will silence every lie spoken against you, every accusation that haunted you, and every voice that told you you were too late. If you know God is still with you, comment 555 as a sign that you trust Him to finish what He started. This is not the end of your story, it is the turning point, the shift, the moment the tide begins to return in your favor. You are not cursed, you are covered. You are not forsaken, you are chosen. You are not forgotten, you are favored. And nothing in hell or on earth can cancel what God has written over your life. You may have walked through fire, but it did not consume you. You may have sat in darkness, but it did not destroy you. Because even in your weakest hour, God held you with hands that never let go. He knows how long you've been waiting. He knows the promises that feel delayed. But His timing is not late. It is deliberate. He is aligning every piece of the puzzle so that when your breakthrough comes, it will not only bless you but bless everyone connected to you. This is why the pressure has been so intense. This is why everything lately has felt like a test. Because God is preparing to release something that cannot be rushed, something holy, something weighty, something worth the wait. There is healing flowing into you right now. Not just for your body, but for every space where you were wounded silently. The places where people hurt you and never said sorry. The moments where you were there for everyone but no one showed up for you. The heaviness you carried that made you question your own worth. God is touching all of it, gently, faithfully, and healing it fully. He is restoring you from the inside out, not just so you can survive, but so you can live again. You are going to feel joy again, real joy. Not the kind you have to fake in front of others, not the kind that fades when you're alone, but joy that bubbles up from a place of deep security in God. That joy is being planted right now. That joy will return in full, and it will be your strength. Peace is also being planted, not the fragile peace that depends on circumstances, but the kind that comes from knowing who holds your life. That peace will silence the anxiety. That peace will calm the panic. That peace will hold you steady when everything around you feels unstable. And yes, provision is coming. Not barely enough, not just survival, overflow. Enough to restore what was lost. Enough to rebuild what was broken. Enough to free you from cycles that kept you small and afraid. God is a generous Father, and He will not allow His child to remain in lack when the doors of heaven are open. This season will not end like it started. The pain will not have the final word. The disappointment will not define the outcome. God is writing a better ending, and He is starting that chapter now. So breathe again. Rest in Him. Let go of the timelines you built in your mind. Let go of the pressure to perform, prove, or earn what is already being given by grace. You do not have to strive for what is already yours through the cross. You only have to receive it. Stay in this moment. What God is doing right now is sacred. What He is planting in you will grow into strength, testimony, and purpose. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen, and you are not too late. You may not see the evidence yet, but you are standing in the middle of a divine setup. You are not abandoned. You are not forgotten. You are in the care of a God who sees the end from the beginning and writes stories that always turn out for good, even if the pages start in pain. Every attack that came against your mind, your peace, your confidence, none of it was wasted. It all revealed how much the enemy fears your future. It all exposed how valuable you are to heaven. You don't fight battles this intense unless your breakthrough is close. You don't experience pressure like this unless there is glory on the other side. The pain you've been walking through has a purpose. It is not your identity. It is not your final chapter. It is simply the process of God proving to you that even in suffering, His love remains steady. You are not weak because you felt like giving up. You are strong because you didn't. You are not broken because you cried. You are whole because you kept showing up. Heaven counts every tear. Not one drop falls without being seen, and each one is held as a promise that you will never be left without comfort. You may have felt alone, but the angels of God have been near you this entire time, standing guard, fighting battles in the spirit that you were never meant to fight alone. If you know deep inside that God is still fighting for you, comment 1212 right now as a quiet but bold act of agreement. There is a turnaround coming, not in the distant future, but starting now. It will begin with peace returning to your heart in ways you didn't expect. Not loud, not dramatic, just peace that suddenly settles over you in the middle of a moment that used to trigger you. Then it will begin to show in your decisions, how you no longer feel the need to prove yourself, explain your pain, or chase things that don't carry your purpose. The shift will continue in your relationships. God will begin to remove what distracts and restore what aligns. And soon, even the physical things around you will begin to match the peace and clarity growing inside of you. This is what happens when God takes over. He doesn't just patch up the brokenness. He rebuilds with beauty, with meaning, and with power. What you lost in one season will be restored in ways you never imagined. The time that felt wasted will return as favor. The relationships that felt one-sided will be replaced with ones that are mutual, nourishing, and God-sent. The money that slipped through your hands will return in unexpected ways, connected to peace, not pressure. But more than all of that, your soul will come alive again. You'll breathe without heaviness. You'll laugh without guilt. You'll rest without fear of what tomorrow might bring. Because you'll know deep down that you are covered, that your life is not random, that your steps are ordered, and that no matter what comes, you will not walk through it alone. God is sealing a covenant with you in this hour, not a casual promise, not a temporary boost of encouragement. A covenant, something sacred, something eternal. He is promising to never leave you uncovered again. He is promising to keep you even when life shakes. He is promising to finish every work He started in you and to defend you from every voice that tries to silence the light inside you. The doors that are about to open will not come from hustle, from striving, or from performance. They will open because of obedience, and you are already walking in it. Every moment you said yes to God while everything around you felt like no, He saw it. Every time you chose peace over revenge, humility over pride, stillness over fear, He wrote it down. And now, the reward is being released. Not because you earned it, but because you trusted Him through it. He will restore the years that felt stolen. He will give beauty for ashes. He will crown your grief with glory, and He will remind you that nothing you walked through was ever in vain. Even the broken parts of your story will become keys that unlock healing for others. Your scars will carry power, your journey will carry oil, and your voice will carry an authority that only comes from surviving what should have ended you. This is why God needed you to stay close. Not just for your sake, but for every person connected to the destiny that lives inside of you. You are not just being healed for yourself. You are being healed to heal others. You are being lifted to lift others. You are being restored to become a living reminder that God is still faithful, that Jesus is still healing, and that miracles still happen. So do not give up now. Do not doubt what God is doing just because you cannot trace every detail. What's forming in the silence is more real than anything you've lost. What's growing in your surrender is more powerful than anything the enemy tried to delay. What's about to be revealed in your life is not a coincidence, it's the result of heaven's plan finally reaching its moment. Something deeper than emotion tells you that these words are not random, not scripted by man, but released by God into the exact hour you needed them most. You're not just watching or listening, you're receiving. And what you're receiving now is not information, it's impartation. Heaven is placing something new within you that will grow and carry you through every storm ahead. God is not asking you to figure it all out. He's asking you to stay open, stay willing, stay close, because breakthrough is not always loud, and miracles do not always look like fireworks. Sometimes they look like strength where there used to be fear. Sometimes they look like peace where there used to be pressure. And sometimes they come quietly, hidden in ordinary moments, until suddenly everything is different. There are things breaking off of you right now that you didn't even realize were limiting you. Thoughts that were shaped by past pain are being replaced by truth. Fears that held you captive are losing their grip. The lies that whispered you're not enough, you missed it, you'll never recover, they're being silenced by the voice of the one who created you. That voice is louder than your past. That voice is greater than your weakness. That voice is speaking over you now with the authority of a father who never stopped believing in the promise he placed inside of you. If you believe God is removing what has held you back, comment 777 to declare your release. You have not missed your season. You are not behind. Everything is happening at a pace that is perfect for your preparation. There were doors you wanted to walk through that God had to keep shut, not to punish you, but to protect what He was growing inside of you. He needed time to heal the parts of you that would have broken under the weight of what you were asking for. He needed to guard you from blessings that were out of alignment. And now that healing is taking root, you're not just going to receive what you asked for, you're going to carry it with peace, with power, and with endurance. The favor coming to your life is not temporary. It is not surface level. It is not based on performance. It is rooted in the covenant God made with you when He called you. And He has not changed His mind. He still chooses you. He still appoints you. He still places His hand on you even when you feel unsure of your own steps. The beauty of grace is that it does not wait for perfection. It meets you in your weakness and says, I will carry you. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to explain the process. You don't even have to understand how it all works. You only need to say yes, and you've already said it. Every tear you've cried in prayer was a yes. Every time you chose to trust when nothing made sense was a yes. Every moment you stayed faithful when your heart was tired was a yes. And heaven heard it. God is not building your life on shaky ground. He is building it on surrender. That kind of foundation does not crumble. That kind of foundation does not collapse when pressure comes. You've been refined by fire, but not destroyed. You've been tested, but not forsaken. And the glory that is about to rest on your life will be unshakable, not because you were strong, but because you stayed. You're going to walk into rooms you never imagined. Not because of titles, not because of connections, but because favor opens doors that effort cannot force. God is going to place you in positions where your only explanation will be, God did this. And He's going to do it in such a way that even those who doubted you will have no choice but to see His hand on you. This is not pride. This is vindication that comes from being faithful when no one else was watching. You are about to see restoration in ways that will bring you to your knees. Not just a return of what was lost, but an overflow that proves nothing was wasted. God saw every silent sacrifice. He saw what you gave when you had little. He saw how you served when no one applauded. And now the harvest is coming, not to inflate you, but to establish you, to anchor you, to testify through you that obedience is never overlooked. God is not done writing your story. In fact, the chapters ahead will be the most beautiful yet. The kind where broken pieces come together and form something stronger than before. The kind where peace no longer feels temporary, but constant. The kind where your prayers begin to look like reality, and not just in one area but in every part of your life. Your relationships will be marked by truth and trust. Your work will carry purpose and clarity. Your home will be a sanctuary, not a place of stress. Your health will reflect peace, not pressure. Your finances will no longer be ruled by fear, but by wisdom and abundance. God is touching every corner of your life, not with just enough, but with overflow. So stay steady, stay rooted, stay aware. This is not the time to retreat. This is the time to rise. Not in your own power, but in His. Not by striving, but by resting in His promise. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are chosen, covered, empowered, and walking into a season where nothing will look the same because everything is being touched by the hand of God. He is closer than your breath, nearer than your next thought, and more faithful than every person who walked away. This moment is not passing you by. This is the exact moment where heaven leans down and marks your life with a new beginning. You've waited a long time for something to change, and God wants you to know that the waiting was not a waste. It was preparation. You didn't lose time, you were gaining depth. What looked like delay was actually divine protection. You were being guarded, shaped, stretched, and matured. And now, you are ready to receive the kind of blessing that doesn't just visit for a moment, but stays for a lifetime. This time, it's going to last. This time, the door will stay open. This time, you will not lose what God gives. There is movement in the heavens on your behalf. Things are being shifted behind the scenes. Conversations are being had in rooms you don't even know exist yet. People are being positioned. Answers are being arranged. God is working out the details with precision. You don't have to force it, chase it, or beg for it. Your only assignment now is to believe that what God said is still true and trust that His timing is still perfect. If you know deep in your soul that God is preparing the breakthrough you've been praying for, comment 999 as a sign of your trust in His timing. God knows how weary your heart has been lately. He knows you've smiled through the pain, pushed through the pressure, and carried more than you ever said out loud. But now, He is lifting the weight. The burden is not yours to carry anymore. The anxiety is being replaced with peace. The fear is being silenced by truth. And the lie that told you nothing will change is being crushed by the voice of God saying, "Everything is changing because I'm in it now." You are stepping into a divine reversal. What came to break you is going to build you. What the enemy meant for harm is turning into the very thing that strengthens your testimony. The closed doors were not rejection. They were redirection. The pain you went through did not disqualify you. It marked you for greater authority. You are not at the end, you are at the edge of something holy. God is restoring your hope right now. Not the shallow kind of hope that disappears when things get hard, but the deep, unshakable hope that holds you steady through storms. That hope is being planted deep in your spirit. It will grow into confidence. It will grow into joy. It will grow into a faith that moves mountains. You will not be the same after this. You will not go back to what you came out of. You will rise not in your strength, but in His. You have been faithful with little. You have worshipped through weariness. You have praised through pain. And now, increase is being released over you, not just financially, but spiritually, emotionally, and relationally. The kind of increase that doesn't add stress, but multiplies peace. The kind that brings healing, alignment, and favor that cannot be explained by natural means. This is not hype. This is not empty encouragement. This is God reminding you that He is still God. He still parts seas. He still moves mountains. He still opens wombs, heals diseases, and restores what was declared dead. You are not forgotten in a crowd. You are chosen, handpicked, and deeply known. God saw you long before this season started, and He already planned how it would end with His glory on full display through your life. So stop wondering if you're enough. You are not walking in your own qualifications. You are walking in His calling. You were not created to survive on scraps of peace. You were created to overflow with the fullness of His presence. That's what is coming next. That's what this shift is about. Not just surviving a hard season, but stepping into a healed, whole, and holy life that you do not have to apologize for. God is also renewing your mind. The mental battles, the inner voices, the tormenting loops of doubt, they are breaking off of you. He is giving you clarity where there was confusion. He is giving you peace where there was panic. And He is giving you discernment that will protect you going forward. What deceived you before will not deceive you again. What drained you before will not distract you again. What delayed you before will not detour you again. He is also surrounding you with new strength. This strength is not loud. It's quiet, steady, and deep. The kind that carries you through valleys. The kind that helps you wait with grace and walk with peace, even when you don't have all the answers. That strength is being planted in you right now, and you will feel it every time you wake up without fear. Every time you move forward without needing approval. Every time you choose peace over panic. This is your season of rest, not because the storm is over, but because you've learned where your refuge is. The storm may still rage, but it will no longer own your mind. You are resting in the arms of the One who commands the wind and waves, and He has spoken peace over you. That peace is permanent. That peace is yours. That peace cannot be shaken by what comes next. This is a holy pivot in your journey, where everything that once stood still will begin to move, and everything that once felt dry will start to flow again. The silence you've endured is not the absence of God. It has been the protection of His presence while He reshaped the path ahead. There have been moments recently when your heart felt fragile, when you reached your breaking point quietly, when you sat in your own thoughts and felt like you were barely holding on. But here is what you didn't see. Heaven was leaning in during those very moments. Angels were standing over you. The Spirit of God was hovering close. You were never left to battle alone. Not for a second. Not even once. And right now, the same God who held you then is holding you now with even greater purpose and clarity. God is not just preparing to bless you. He's already doing it. While you've been wrestling with uncertainty, heaven has been working out the pieces of your deliverance. There are things that once made you anxious that will not even touch you again. There are wounds that once triggered your emotions that are being healed so deeply they will no longer be able to reopen. What used to feel like heavy chains are falling off without noise or attention, because the Spirit is doing a silent work that will soon become visible. If this speaks to the deepest part of your heart, and you feel God breaking old patterns, comment 1010 as your declaration of release and renewal. You are being made new, not fixed, not patched, new, entirely. The way you think is changing. The way you respond is changing. Even the way you pray is changing, not because you are trying harder, but because God is filling you with a depth that cannot be shaken. You are beginning to carry authority in areas you once struggled to survive. What once scared you will soon submit to the peace you now walk in. That is what happens when God breathes on dry places. They come to life again. Do not be afraid of this change. It is divine. It may feel unfamiliar because you've become used to surviving, but this is not survival. This is freedom. This is restoration. This is what it feels like when God takes over completely, not just to comfort, but to establish, not just to heal, but to elevate. The identity you are stepping into is not a version of your past. It is the original version God saw when He created you, before pain reshaped you, before disappointment made you question your worth. You are walking into a kind of peace that doesn't depend on circumstances. It flows from knowing who you belong to. This peace will allow you to stand still in the face of confusion. This peace will quiet the inner voices that have accused and belittled you. And this peace will not visit occasionally, it will stay with you, because it is part of the covering that comes when your life is fully surrendered into the hands of your Father. There are people being removed from your life, and it may feel like loss, but it is actually protection. God is not taking away what you need. He is removing what has delayed, distracted, and discouraged your growth. Some relationships were sent by the enemy to confuse your identity. Others were allowed only for a season, but now their time has expired. Let go with peace. Release with gratitude. Because what God is bringing into your life now will not pull you backward, it will propel you forward. The voices that once made you second-guess your worth will no longer have influence. The habits that once kept you trapped in cycles will no longer satisfy your appetite. Your spirit is rising, and everything that does not align with the presence of God is falling away. This is not punishment. This is preparation. You are being positioned to receive in fullness, and fullness cannot dwell in places still cluttered by yesterday's patterns. You are also being surrounded by new favor. Not just favor to receive things, but favor that brings clarity, order, and wisdom. This kind of favor doesn't only bless, it builds. It will help you discern what's for you and what's sent to test you. It will help you say no when peace isn't present. It will help you walk away from what looks good but is not from God. This is divine wisdom, and it is being poured out generously over you right now. And even more than what's leaving your life, pay attention to what's arriving. New strength, new connections, new clarity, new hunger for the presence of God. These are the signs of revival within you. You are not going backwards. You are not stuck. You are transitioning. You are crossing over. And what's waiting on the other side will make sense of every unanswered prayer, every delay, and every detour you thought was a mistake. Do not fear the unknown. The unknown is only dark when God is not in it, and He is already ahead of you. He walks in front of you as your guide, behind you as your protection, beside you as your comfort, and within you as your power. You are not walking alone. You are walking with heaven backing your every step. You may not see all the fruit yet, but the seeds are already taking root. And in just a little while, the evidence of this season will begin to show. Joy will return, not as a moment, but as a lifestyle. Peace will remain, not as a pause, but as a foundation. Provision will flow, not as a surprise, but as a steady reminder that you are covered. You will live again. You will dream again. You will build again. And this time, nothing will be stolen, because God Himself is guarding what is being given to you. It is the Spirit of God doing a quiet, powerful work in your heart, realigning your desires, renewing your vision, and repairing the places that were fractured by life. The change doesn't begin when everything looks different. It begins when you decide not to let what broke you define what becomes of you. You are being pulled deeper into truth, Not just the kind that sounds good in a prayer, but the kind that actually changes how you see yourself, how you see God, and how you see what's ahead. The truth that no matter how much time you think you lost, God is not bound by your clocks or calendars. He redeems time. He restores what slipped through your hands. And He renews dreams that were buried under disappointment and delay. You didn't miss your moment. You didn't fall too far. You didn't mess up too badly. The enemy wanted you to believe that, so you'd stop expecting anything good. But the truth is, God already made room for every mistake you'd ever make, and He still chose you. He still has a plan for you. And He still intends to finish what He started in your life with glory, not shame. If you believe restoration is not just coming, but already beginning in you, comment 1515. As a witness to what God is doing in your spirit, God is delivering you from the heaviness that tried to define your identity. That weight was never yours to carry. Those words spoken over you were never rooted in truth. That fear that told you you'll always struggle, that things will always be hard, that love will always leave you, none of it came from the mouth of your Father. And now He's breaking those lies off of you with truth that goes deeper than any wound ever did. You are not the things you've survived. You are not the failures that tried to stick to your name. You are not the labels other people placed on you. You are not the worst thing you've done or the worst thing someone else did to you. You are redeemed. You are restored. You are covered. You are chosen. And that identity is not temporary. It is eternal. It is written in blood. It is sealed by mercy, and it will never be revoked. God is also breathing life back into your voice. The voice that once spoke boldly, the voice that once worshipped freely, the voice that once prayed with fire but grew quiet over time. He's touching that voice with healing. He's stirring it again with authority. And you will speak again not from pain, but from power. You will sing again not to be heard, but because you are whole. You will pray again not because you have to, but because you know what happens when you do. And as you rise in this restoration, doors will open that do not require manipulation or striving. These doors are not built by man, they are opened by obedience, and you are walking into them not to prove anything, but to fulfill everything God has already written for you. You are not chasing after opportunity, you are stepping into alignment. And when alignment happens, favor flows freely. You don't have to fight for a seat at the table. God is building a whole new table for you, one that fits your calling, your healing, your peace, and your purpose. One where you won't have to shrink to be accepted. One where your boundaries won't be broken. One where your presence won't be tolerated. It will be celebrated because God placed you there. There are blessings coming that will not compete with your peace. They will match your spirit. They will make sense with the healing God is doing in you. This time, what comes into your life will not require you to lose yourself to keep it. This time, you will not have to sacrifice your mental health to survive the assignment. This time, the fruit will grow without the thorns of constant anxiety and spiritual exhaustion. Your mind is being renewed. Thoughts that once triggered fear will now trigger praise. Situations that once made you spiral will now bring clarity. You are learning to hear God not just through volume, but through peace. You are learning that the loudest voice isn't always the truest one, and you are being anchored in the voice that never changes, never lies, and never fails, the voice of your shepherd. He is guiding you even now, gently, tenderly, with no rush, no pressure, just presence. He knows where you're going. He knows what you're ready for. He knows what still needs healing. And He's not impatient. He's not disappointed in your process. He is proud that you're still here, that you're still saying yes, that you're still listening. that you still believe something good is coming, even after everything tried to convince you otherwise. So let go of the need to have it all figured out. Let go of the pressure to perform. Let go of the habit of pretending you're fine when you're still healing. God isn't asking you to be impressive, He's asking you to be honest. He's not calling the perfect, He's calling the willing. And you've already proven you're willing just by showing up in this moment with an open heart. This is the soil where new life grows. This is the season where joy is restored. This is the hour where the fog lifts and the fire returns. Stay with it. Don't rush it. Don't compare it. Let God finish what He's doing. Let Him take His time. Let Him speak to the places no one else can reach. Because what He's building in you now will last far longer than anything you've lost. That's not weakness, that's divine endurance. Every time you felt like giving up but didn't, heaven recorded it. Every silent battle, every hidden tear, every time you whispered, "God, help me." When no one else heard, none of it went unnoticed. And now, the reward for your endurance is beginning to unfold, not just in the natural, but in the spiritual. You are being honored by God Himself, not for your perfection, but for your perseverance. You have no idea how much weight your faith has carried in the Spirit. What others called small, God saw as powerful. What people ignored, heaven celebrated. You didn't need applause, because obedience has its own reward, and God, who sees what is done in secret, is bringing a public restoration to what you quietly endured. The season of hidden tears is ending. Joy is coming not just as a moment, but as a lifestyle. If your heart is ready to receive that joy, and you believe your restoration has begun, comment 1717 as your personal declaration of faith. This restoration isn't only about getting back what you lost, it's about becoming who you were always meant to be before life tried to convince you otherwise. God is not just returning what was stolen, He's restoring your identity. He's reminding you that you were never forgotten, you were never overlooked, you were never less than worthy of everything good. This is your inheritance, not because you earned it, but because you are His. You are about to walk into spaces you once only dreamed about. Not because you forced your way in, but because your name has been written on doors that are opening supernaturally. You will not have to compromise to be chosen. You will not have to shrink to be accepted. What's being prepared for you is already yours, and it's coming in a way that brings peace, not pressure. And in this process, God is going to restore your energy. He is going to refill what was drained by worry, stress, and constant emotional weight. You've been running on survival, but now you're stepping into overflow. This is not a temporary breath of air. This is sustained strength, the kind that fuels your purpose and keeps your heart steady even when life around you shifts. You're going to notice that your spirit is no longer reacting the way it used to. The things that once rattled you won't have the same effect. The words that once pierced you will lose their power. The patterns that once repeated in your life are being broken by the authority of the Holy Spirit right now. That's not coincidence. That's God renewing your mind, rewiring your reactions, and filling your soul with His truth. And as this happens, peace will begin to mark your every step. This peace is not fragile. It's not here one day and gone the next. It's steady. It's strong. It's God's way of reminding you that no matter what comes, you are never without His presence. You are never unguarded. You are never without covering. Every time you feel that peace settle over you unexpectedly, it is God saying, "I am here. I've got you. Keep going." There are people watching your life right now who don't even know they are about to witness a miracle. Your life is a living testimony. What God is doing in you is going to speak louder than anything you could ever explain. You won't need to justify yourself. You won't need to explain how it all turned around. They'll see the fruit. They'll feel the shift. They'll know something divine happened in your life. That's what God does when you surrender. He takes what was broken and makes it beautiful without your striving. He turns what was lost into legacy. He turns mourning into dancing, ashes into beauty, fear into faith. And He's doing it in you right now. So don't worry about the timing. Don't stress about how it all comes together. Your only task now is to stay open, stay willing, and stay close to Him. God never rushes when He's building something eternal. He takes His time because what He's building in you is meant to last. There are promises with your name on them that haven't been cancelled. They've just been covered until the time is right. And now, the timing is shifting. The atmosphere around you is changing. The waiting has prepared you. The delay has strengthened you, and the doors that are opening will not close again. You are entering into a season where the favor on your life will not be seasonal, but sustained. This favor isn't tied to performance. It's rooted in God's promise. And what He promised you in the dark will come to light, not because you demanded it, but because you trusted Him when you didn't understand. And when it arrives, you will not forget where you came from. You will not lose your hunger for His presence. You will not trade His peace for the applause of people. Instead, you'll walk in humility, knowing that everything good you carry is because of the One who never let go of you. So keep listening, keep leaning in, keep breathing in the truth that God is for you, with you, and ahead of you. You are not returning to your old patterns. You are not going backward. You are moving forward, even when it feels slow, even when it feels quiet, even when you don't fully see it yet. This movement is real, this shift is spiritual, and the new thing God is doing will outlast every storm you've survived. Let your soul rest in that. Let your heart receive that. Let your faith rise in that. You are not drifting anymore. You are being led. You are not questioning your worth anymore. You are being reminded that you are chosen. This is what it feels like to be pulled back into alignment with heaven's rhythm. It's not loud. It's not flashy. It's the soft, undeniable pull of the Father bringing His child back into full awareness of His love. That is what's happening in you right now. What you are walking through is not just a recovery, it is a resurrection. God is not patching you up, He is raising you. From disappointment, from confusion, from burnout, from fear. And He is doing it gently, layer by layer, so that what rises in you will last. You are no longer surviving, you are being reawakened. And that awakening will begin to touch every part of your life. If this is awakening something inside your spirit and you feel it to your core, comment Amen as a response to what God is doing. You're going to begin noticing small things first. The conversations that used to drain you will lose their weight. The thoughts that used to spiral you into anxiety will lose their grip. You'll walk through situations that once overwhelmed you, and you'll realize that you are no longer reacting from the same place. That is the fruit of healing. That is how you know that God has truly stepped in and taken over. The fire no longer consumes you because He is now walking with you in it. And as these inner shifts happen, your outer world will begin to respond. You'll see doors open with ease, not forced, not manipulated, but opened by favor. You'll feel relationships settle into alignment. The right people will find you without chasing, and the wrong ones will drift without conflict. That's the power of God's presence. It doesn't beg, it brings peace. There are things you have been praying about in private, things you never even voiced to another soul. Deep fears, quiet hopes, unspoken dreams. God has heard them all. And He's not only heard them, He's answering them in ways that are better than what you imagined. Not because you are perfect, but because He is gracious, because you stayed open, because you didn't let the pain make you bitter, because you still chose to believe even after everything. You're about to experience restoration in areas that haven't felt alive in years. There's a part of your heart that almost stopped dreaming, a part of your soul that got tired of expecting anything to change. But God is touching that place now. He is breathing life back into what you stopped praying for. He is reigniting hope where it felt impossible. You will dream again, you will believe again. And this time, you will see the fruit,